Yesterday I didn't finish reading chapter 6, Pig and Pepper, because my strength came. Now I will keep reading the rest of chapter 6. Here you go. Oh, please smile. What are you doing? Cried Alice, jumping up and down in an agony of terror. Oh, there goes his precious nose, as an unusually large saucepan flew close by it, and very nearly carried off. If everybody mind their own business, the Duchess said in a hoarse drawl, the world would go on a deal faster than it does, which would not be an advantage, said Alice, who felt very glad to get an opportunity of showing off a little of her knowledge. Let's think of what work it would make with a day and night. You see, Earth takes 24 hours to turn around on its axis. Talking of axis, said the Duchess, the chop of her head. Alice glanced rather anxiously at the cook to see if she meant to take a hint, but the cook was busily stirring the soup, and I seemed not to feel listening, so she went on again. 24 hours, I think. Oh, is it 12, Oh, don't bother me, said the Duchess. I never could abide figures. And with that she began nursing her child again, singing a sort of lullaby to it as she did so, and giving a violent shriek at the end of the rhyme. Speak roughly to your little boy, and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to analyst because he knows he is coarse. In which the cook and the baby joined. Wow, wow, wow. And while the Duchess sang the second verse of the song, she kept tossing the baby violently up and down, and the fool little thing howled so. Alice could hardly hear the word. I speak serious to my boy. I beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases. Course. Wow, 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 wow. Here, you may nurse it a bit, and if you like, the Duchess said to Alice, flung the baby at her as she spoke. I must go and get ready to play croquet with the king. And she hurried out of the room. The cook threw a frying pan at her as she went out, but it just missed her. Alice caught the baby with some difficulty, as it was a queer-shaped little creature, and held out his arms and legs in all directions, just like a starfish. Thought Alice the fool little thing was snorting like a steam engine, and she caught it, and kept doubling itself off and straightening itself out again, so that all squeezed. For the first minute or two, it was as much as she could do to hold it, as soon as she had made out the proper way of nursing it, which was to twist it up into a sort of knot, and then keep tight hold of its right ear and left foot so as to prevent its undoing itself. She carried out into the open air. If I don't take this child away with me, thought Alice, they're sure to kill it in a day or two. Wouldn't it be murder to leave it behind? She said the last words out loud, and the things grunted in the flight. It had left off sneezing by this time. Don't grunt, said Alice. That's not at all proper way of expressing yourself. The baby grunted again, and Alice looked very anxiously into his face to see what was the matter with it. What the matter was with it. There could be no doubt that it had a very turned-up nose, much more like a snout than Lear's. Also, its eyes was getting extremely small for a baby. Altogether, Alice did not like the look of the thing at all, but perhaps it was only sobbing, she thought, and looked into his eyes again, and to see if there were any tears. No, there were no tears. If you were going to turn into a pig, my dear, said Alice seriously, I'll have nothing so much to do with it. And my nerves and the fool little thing sobbed again, or granted it was impossible to say which, and they went on for some while in silence. Alice was just beginning to think to herself, now what am I to do with this creature when I get home? when it grunted again so violently that she looked down into his face in some alarm. This time there could be no mistake about it. It was neither more nor less than a pig, and she felt it would be quite absurd for her to carry it further. So she set the little creature down and felt quite relieved to see it trot away quietly into the wood. If it had grown up, she said to herself, it would have made a dreadfully ugly child, but it makes Lotus the handsome pig. A thing, and she began thinking about other children she knew who might do very well at pigs, and was just saying to herself that if one only knew the right way to change them. When she was a little startled by seeing the Cheshire cat sitting on a bough of a tree a few yards off. The cat only grinned when it was Alice. It looked so good, naturally. She saw it had very long claws and a great many teeth, so she felt that it would also be treated with respect. Cheshire the first. She began a lot of things with that she did not at all know whether it would like the names. However, it only grinned a little wider. Come, Mr. Please, Papa. So Alice and she went on. Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? That depends a good deal on the way you want to get to, said the cat. I don't much care where, said Alice. But then it doesn't matter to which way you go, said the cat. So long as I get to somewhere, Alice said it as an explanation. Oh, you were sure to do that, said the cat, if you only walk along enough. Asked Pada, this could not be denied. So she tried another question. Sort of the people lived about here. In that direction, the cat said, waving its right foot round. Leaves the petals that in that direction, waving the other foot, and leaves are much hairs. Fidget either you like it, the other doesn't matter. But I don't want to go among madmen. Alice remarked. Oh, you can have that, said the cat. We are all mad here. I'm mad. You are mad. How do you know I'm mad? Said Alice. You must be, said the cat, or you wouldn't have come here. Alice didn't think that proved it at all. However, she went, and how do you know that you are mad? To me, said the cat. A dog's not mad. You grant that? I suppose so, said Alice. Well, then the cat went home. Do you see a dog goes when he's angry, and wags his tail when he's pleased? Nah, I go when I'm pleased, and I wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore I'm mad. I call it the purring and growing, said Alice. Go what you like, said the cat. Do you play croquet with the king today? I should like very much, said Alice, but I haven't been invited yet. Oh, you've seen me there, said the cat, and vanished. Alice was not much surprised at this, and she was getting so used to queer things happening while she was looking at the place where it had been suddenly appeared again. Alright, what became of the baby Sarah's cat? I really listened forgotten to ask. It turned into a feeding. Alice quietly said, just as if it had come back in a natural way. I thought you would, said the cat, and vanished again. Alice waited a little, half expecting to eat again, but not furious, and after a minute or two she walked on in the direction in which the match and hair was said to leave absent matters before she said to herself that the marsh hare will be much the most interesting and perhaps this is amazed it wants to be ravings matter at least not so matters as it was in March. As she said this, and she looked up, and there was the cat again, sitting on a branch of a tree. Did you say pig or pig? Said the cat. I said pig, replied Alice. Oh, she wouldn't keep appearing and vanishing so suddenly, so you make one quite giddy. All right, said her cat, and decided to vanished quite slowly, beginning with the end of the tail and ending with the green, which remained some time after the rest of it had gone. Well, I've often seen a cat without a green, thought Alice, but a green without a cat is the most curious thing I ever saw in my life. She had not gone much farther before she came inside of the house of the Marsh Hare. She saw it must be a house because the chimneys were shaped like ears and the roof was reflected with fur. It was a larger house with a. She did not like to go nearer still. she had nibbled some more of the left-hand bit of mushroom and raised herself about 2 feet high. Even then, she walked up towards it, reluctantly saying to herself, "You should be leaving now. After all, I almost wish I'd gone to see the hatter instead." The end. Finish reading chapter 6, The Pig and Pepper. Interesting. About Mad. The cat said, when the dog's happy, they wail, and when dogs are angry, they bark. But the cat, when the cat is happy, it barks, and angry, it wags its tail. Interesting.